All right, hello again. Hello, hello. Who is it? Neil Diamond, there we go. I knew I'd said that, heard that before. Okay, wow, welcome again. Here we are. We're gonna, there's a video. Do you have the graphic of LATM? Can we put that up there? I just didn't know. This is a new logo, so I like to use it. There we go. Yeah, all right, good. Thanks. So I'm Karl Halverson, and I'm the executive director of LATM. That stands for Literature and Teaching Ministries. And since Literature and Teaching Ministries tells you absolutely nothing about what we do, I'll be explaining what it is. And it's okay, right? There's a lot of names for things, and it doesn't explain what you do. You just have to look at what they do, and then you see it and find out. So thank you for being here. I love to be in groups of people that want to be where they are, which means when we have family meetings, I don't like to be in those. When we used to, 3 of my kids are pretty much out of the house. I mean, 2 of them are out of the house. One of them got married 2.5 weeks ago, which is awesome. I have a new daughter-in-law. Someone else with my last name. That's weird, okay? So I'm just kidding. My kids love me, and they always loved it when I called them to a meeting and talked to them. But I'm so thankful you all are here, and I can talk to you about LATM, because it's a pretty amazing thing, I think. Now, I want to do something. You just going to raise your hand, or are you going to stand up?
I might stand up, depends on what you say.
Well, I wanted to recognize Doug Reed. Could you just stand up, Doug? Can you give Doug a hand? Doug you don't have to stay standing if you don't want, but you can. No, for 13 years, Doug worked with LATM, and only recently in the past, let's say, especially the past 4 months, have I realized why I wish he hadn't retired. And sometimes even in the past 4 months, he thinks he hasn't retired because I keep calling him and asking him to do things. But really, I know many of you know Doug and have known him for a long time, and I know you appreciate him, both his commitment to Christ and the kingdom and to missions, to his wife, Karl, to humor. Humor, if you know Doug, you know what I mean. And I am just thankful, Doug, for you, and thank you all who have encouraged him and supported him over the years. So I just wanted to make sure. And Jill reminded me that I should remember to do that. So that's my wife, Jill. So let's see. Oh, I have a list. Just a moment. I have something on my list, and it says pass out books. So College Press. Have you heard of College Press? Okay, they're still around. It might surprise you. They're very small, but they're still around, and they have a level of strength that the Lord has put in them to endure the past many years of a lot of small publishing companies closing. And actually, LATM owns College Press now. And we're going to be doing some interesting configurations between those 2 organizations so that that work in English can continue and Lord willing, be even more impactful and known. But they published a book called Faith Road, and it is under the authorship of someone named Elliot Branch, which is a pseudonym for the real person who was a missionary in Southeast Asia and did some really cool things. But I want all of you to have a copy of this book, okay? I bought several cases when it came out, and I give them to our donors, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna be here, and this is a great story, and you all are mission people, whether you're missionaries on the field or you're supporting and sending, I want you to have it. So we won't do it yet, but I said it now so that I wouldn't forget before I'm done, okay? Because I don't want to take those books home, because So help me remember, and then we'll figure out how to get them so everyone doesn't have to come back and get it. We'll pass them out. The third thing is this, and I want to say it now. I built some time into my schedule to be here. I don't leave until early Tuesday morning from Eugene because I wanted to connect with some donors and a church. So I'll be at a church at Santa Clara on Sunday just to do a short hello and thank you so much for their years of support of our ministry and partnership. But I don't have any appointments on Monday. So I'm saying I would love, it doesn't matter if you're donors of our ministry, I don't care. If you're in the Eugene area and you'd like to get together for a coffee and just talk and encourage each other, or if you like to go out for breakfast or lunch or dinner on Monday, please tell me. It's either that or I sit around and bother the preacher at Santa Clara all day Monday. And you know, no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to him. But I mean that. So if you find that a compelling offer, please let me know. And I'd love to make some connections. Okay? All right, but that's on you now. I'm not going to order you to do it. So right now, LATM. Oh, it's me up there again. Oh, so this is how it works. This is what's, okay. You can tell. I spend a lot of time alone. I know. I want to show you 2 videos we recently made. And they summarize well why LATM and what LATM. And then we'll just walk through those things, okay? Books have been important since the church began. Paul asked for his coat and his books. And while English books are prolific, most non-Western languages have few to none. One Southeast Indian brother, Dr. V.G., hand-wrote translations of college press books in the late 70s. It was time-consuming, but he knew that Christian leaders around him needed these biblical resources. The owner of College Press, Don DeWelt, out of his own pocket helped Dr. V.G. The vision to see Christian books published in the world's languages became real when Chris DeWelt started LATM for the purpose of helping leaders worldwide publish solidly biblical books in their languages. In 1992, 3 books were published, 2 in Russian and 1 in Spanish. In 1993, more churches and field partners joined LATM, and 9 books were completed, 7 in Russian and 2 in Lisu. 1994 saw 11 projects, adding French, Hindi, Khmer, Portuguese, and Rouen to the list of languages being impacted. Over the years, more churches in the U.S. and more field partners worldwide joined the work, so that now, with LATM into its 30th year, 75 churches and 382 individuals and families have partnered to see nearly 1,400 books in 85 languages, equaling more than 2.6 million copies, so that the nations can find, follow, and serve Jesus. So why LATM? Because the nations need the Christian books they don't have in their languages. And we here in the U.S. have the resources, financial and professional, that can be used to help them to get those books. LATM, Christian books in the world's languages. What does LATM do? First, think about this. Did you know that Christian books aren't available in most non-Western languages? And did you know that people who speak non-Western languages really want or need Christian books? It's hard to believe, right? Since you've got or can get lots of Christian books. LATM helps Christian leaders worldwide publish Christian books in their languages so their people find, follow, and serve Jesus. And it works like this. The leader contacts LATM with a project, and then 2 things happen. LATM gets to work finding the needed financial resources to pay for the project, and the national leader gets to work producing the book. First, it's translated, which takes 30 to 50 hours of work over several months. Then it's edited, and this takes dozens more hours as every sentence is examined and mistakes are corrected. Typesetting is next. It's here that the book is made to look the way it should when it's in people's hands. Throughout the process, the cover is being designed. Then the book goes to the printer, who gets the ink onto paper or the digitized version ready. Finally, it's distributed and gets to work discipling the person who reads it. So the Christian leaders worldwide get the book done in their language and place. LATM gets a hold of you or your church to find the needed financial resources, and we all celebrate when the book gets to work discipling the person reading it in their own language. It's not glamorous or flashy, but over 30 years, nearly 1,400 books in 85 languages, equaling more than 2.6 million copies, have gotten into people's hands so that the nations are discipled with books in their own languages so they can find, follow, and serve Jesus. All right. Was that helpful? Yeah? Thank you. So let's just walk through this a little bit more, because even when I show people that, seriously, this is a question, I'll come up, I'm going to answer it before you do anything. It is, so do you guys print the books and then ship them overseas? That's the most common question, and the answer to that is no, we don't. We actually, the work is all done somewhere else, okay? So now we'll walk through it. I just want to answer that question because I knew it would come up eventually. So what is LATM? Well, and so now I'm walking through this presentation I have. Perfect, yes, and I've got it right here. The next, there, perfect. So we partner with church leaders worldwide to publish books in their languages, right? So their people find, follow, and serve Jesus. And it was August 1st was the finish of year 29. So we're into year 30. It's hard to say that in a video, to explain, it's been 30 years, it's been almost 30 years. So I just said over 30 years, so hopefully you'll forgive me. But it's the 30th year of LATM, and we are, wait, have we done 30 years? It was August of 92. This is 31. I'm right. Yes, for over 30 years. Yay. Okay, that's confusing. It's like, when was the millennium? 2001. January. That's the new millennium. Okay, sorry. All right. So you can tell a little bit I've been hanging out with Doug, and he's in the room, and so it's just making me feel a little squirrely. But so 85 languages. Now, I think most of you know how many languages and dialects there are in the world. So 85 doesn't seem like a lot. But it's amazing. I'm going to show you a map here, not quite yet, and you're going to see the impact of just those 85 languages, okay? And I'm going to say something about actually one particular project that we've been working on. I told it last night at Campfire, but I don't think everyone was there. So that's what we're doing, what we have done, and we're actually up to 1,415 books, so 1,415 books so far. We've got more books in our pipeline right now than we've ever had in 1 year, 132. Are actively being worked on. So that's by our partners all around the world, okay? It's pretty cool. So why does LATM exist? Because books are important, and not just books for us, right? And if English wasn't the, forgive me, lingua franca of the world, then if you didn't get that, lingua franca is something to do with French, not English, but it means, okay, sorry. So, if English weren't the lingua franca of the world, it'd be something else. And then all the books would be in that language. So the point isn't that they're only in English. The point is that they're not in other languages, non-Western languages in particular. Christian books aren't. And so Paul he thought those parchments were important. Solomon, right, of the making of books, there is no end. And I often took that as a negative thing until I got this job, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's probably a positive thing, okay? But no, it's an amazing thing, because we always need books. We need books, both old ones. My favorite authors are no longer with us, but we also need new books to help people who are thinking in different ways to see the truth of the past from God's Word. So Don Dewell was the instigator of this out of his own pocket, and that's amazing to me. Don's from Portland, and he was, however you feel about Archie Word, he was a wonderful place. He came to Christ there, and it's awesome for me. Chris Dewell, his son, started LATM because they knew that these books were needed. And look, people were doing the work, but it was by hand. And it was one copy at a time by hand. So Don had the vision, Chris had the vision. So let's just talk a little bit about how it works. First of all, the starting point is not where LATM, we sit down and we go, here are the books everyone needs in their languages, and here are the languages we're going to give money to. No, what happens is the leaders in their various countries, they are praying and they go, we need a resource that we don't have, a published resource, whether it's a tract, whether it's a book, whether it's several volumes of books. We've done all different kinds of things. And then they think, how are we going to pay for it? Because that's kind of the problem. And then they hear about LATM somehow, and they contact us. Okay, very often it's just word of mouth. We don't do big advertising and things like that. But we wait for the Lord to lead people to us. But I also talk to people like places like this, and I let them know we're here. So they contact us, and then two things happen, like you saw in the video. LATM gets to work finding the needed financial resources. Now, I think this is funny. If you haven't noticed the typo, did you notice it? Yeah, at ATM. Yeah, I noticed it this morning. That's the first time I've noticed that one. But so it's an ATM. Okay. All right. We find the money in the ATM. Okay. No, I had a great intern this summer, and she put this presentation together. And I won't name her because I don't want to throw her under the bus. Too bad, but no, it's fine. She really was amazing. Doug left. I didn't have a graphic designer. Man, Doug, come on. But I found someone for at least a summer. All right. So I just start looking and praying for and looking for the financial resources that will fund the different projects that we do. And then the field partner, he or she or they, whoever, they get to work to produce the book. Okay? That's their part of it. The production is the translation, the editing, the final revision, the printing, the distribution. That's their job. But the hardest thing, you all know this, you know it, the hardest thing is finding the money. And not having the money is the reason why we hold off doing a lot of things, and that's okay. That's okay. That puts us in a position of humility before the Lord to ask Him to work in a way that we couldn't have. But the thing is, if we know there's something out there that needs to be done, we need to be sensitive to how or if or how we could be a part of helping get it done, okay? So I know that CICM, Ajay Lal, he said, we have a video of him saying, he said, without LATM, CICM would not have a publishing branch, okay? We've done nearly 100 projects with them over 25 years, and those things have been used in amazing ways across India. In fact, one of them I'm going to tell you about, I'll shorten the story, but because of COVID, they had to decentralize their leadership training program, training church planters and evangelists. And when they decentralized it, then reorganized it, and then put it in over 600 different places throughout India, they had 8,000 students register for the first year. They only had 200 in their old way. So then they had 8,000 register, and they are doing it in 15 languages. And those 15 languages cover India and 7 countries surrounding India. And those 8 countries hold within them 53% of the world's unreached. So God's doing something. And we partnered with them, and we had some donors that gave some awesome gifts, and a few small awesome gifts and a few big awesome gifts, and we have funded the printing of all the material that was needed for these 8,000 students. And part of the training is they have to plant 2 churches each, at least, within the 2 years, okay? So we should be anticipating some gospel multiplication in India and the surrounding countries like hasn't been seen. I don't know if it'll happen. If the Lord wills, it will, and we hope it does, but that's a story. So the production is the team's responsibility on the field. But my job in particular is to talk to people like you from churches and say, hey, would you be interested in partnering with us financially? Okay? My wife's job, she's the international project coordinator. I should probably put a picture up here of her, but I didn't. Don't tell her. She's great. She's great, though. And she's the international project coordinator, and she keeps all of those coordinated emailing and calling and Zooming with all the partners just to be able to encourage them and pray with them, help them with any logistics in particular if they're new to the process. Publishing can be a somewhat daunting process, and it is time consuming. I mentioned up there it takes 30 to 50 hours to translate. That's actually true. But when you spread out those 30 to 50 hours over a year or two, it gets interesting. So we try to encourage people to sit down and, do the process, not fast, but as quickly as possible, just so the work can get going. But so she does just all that kind of stuff, keeping things coordinated, and it's pretty amazing. Now, how do we do this? Let's see what comes up next. Hopefully it's a really good map. There. All right. So you can't see this, but you can see the red. The red covers the areas where the languages that you can't really read cover. So although it's 85 languages, it covers the majority of the world. The major world languages are covered, and then a lot of not so major world languages, but that have a large number of people within the people group or the language group are represented here. And so it's really an amazing thing, whether it be in Southeast Asia, where you have tribes that cover, tribes, I'm not sure, who, is it a tribe or a clan or people? People group, okay, there we go, all right. Who cover a couple different countries, you know, they're not trapped in by national borders. And so their language covers a couple countries, or whether you have something like Russian covers Russia, okay? Chinese, Mandarin covers China. And lots of languages cover India, although there's hundreds more. But the majority of Indians speak a very few languages, along with another dialect. So we do it by connecting with partners in these different places and these different languages. And all of these places have ideas for books and opportunities to get books into people's hands. All of these places have editors. All of these places have translators and authors, or authors. All of these places have formatters. They have. I mean, that's just, anyone can do those things if they know how to do them. Those people are in those places. And all of these places have distribution networks, i.e. people that are connected to each other that can receive the books. So, Ethiopia is one, the Amharic language. India, several different languages. We have an amazing thing right now, a partner in Southeast India, and he works with about 1,300 different churches, and he's putting together a pastor's library of Jack Cottrell books. And they're doing it in Tamil, Malayalam, and Hindi. Those three languages, 7 books of Jack Cottrell's smaller books for a pastor's library that they want to encourage the pastors to have and read and study with. And by the way, they just started about 9 months ago, and they finished one, and they're on to the second one, and it's really an amazing. But this is the first time they've done anything with us. So in India, it's really some amazing things happen. Cuba, we have a couple partners that are doing things in Cuba. Ukraine, even amidst the difficulty and struggle in Ukraine right now, our partner, Sergei Golovin, you might know him, Sergei and Olga, they are figuring out ways to get around stuff and to use the internet. They've serialized a couple of books to put them on their website so that people can read the chapters on the website, as kind of an old school, used to do with Charles Dickens novels in the 19th century. They'd serialize them in a newspaper, and then they published them as a book. And so he's doing that because the people aren't in a place where they can print and distribute in Ukraine. They're all over, millions of them have scattered, unfortunately. Russia, the Christians there are suffering just as much, the oppression there. But Sergei Golovin, Konstantin Nazarov, in Moscow, he's just taking advantage of any opportunity he can get to continue translation and publishing. The hardest thing for them is they can't receive funds. All the banks are shut off to Russia. So, and then Kenya also, the Maasai nomadic tribe, right? These Christians are amazing. They love printed books, but they also have Kindles. And then they charge the Kindles with little solar things, and so it's just an amazing thing. But there's distribution networks. The one thing they don't have is a partner who can walk them through the publication process, especially if they really need that, and who can assist them with finding the financial resources to bring the project to reality in their language. And it's not to say they don't, again, this isn't me saying, oh, wow, you're so great because we have all the resources and they're so poor. No, it's not that. But let's just be honest. We have the resources, and they don't. That's a matter of fact. There's nothing I can do about that, except partner with them and be in koinonia, right? That great word, right? It's not just fellowship, but it's actually the context, sharing financial resources. Wow, it's even biblical. Oh my goodness. So what are we asking of people like you? One is to pray, to commit to pray for God's work to get the books into the languages of the world. to get over the obstacles, to come up with new projects. Pray. Ask the Lord of the harvest to send workers in the harvest field. What if, and it could be, I don't know, this is stretching it just a little bit, so I'm not going to die on this hill, but what if a book is a worker? It could be. It still needs someone to produce it, see? Still needs someone to get it into the other person's hand. So we need to pray that the Lord would keep these things going. And then also give. We are praying for financial partners who have the vision and generosity to be prepared to produce as many books in the next 9 years as were done in the past 30 years of LATM's ministry. And that's not something I sat down and thought, you guys know the phrase BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. I don't know if I've said that since the 90s, so forgive me. But it's not that I sat down, Lord, I want to have a big, hairy, audacious goal for you. That's not how I work. I just sat down and I went, what does the next 9 years look like? Let's say I got 9 years leading LATM. If I have longer, thank you, Lord. But if all I have is 9 years, what does it look like? What if we did 100 books for the next 3 years, and we tried to do 150, and we tried to do 200, 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. And then I added up those numbers, and this was a year ago, July, and they equaled 1,350. And right at that time in July, we had done 1,350 books, up to that time. And I thought, okay, I'll run with this. We'll see what happens. So I'm asking people, Christians, you, others, would you consider partnering with LATM? Am I supposed to do that? Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, all right. I mean, I know it's okay generally. I didn't know if it's okay to do an appeal right now and ask people to dance up to the front. Okay, I don't know. I don't do that. But you might. So that's the thing. And I'm just going to be honest with you. There's some things happening, and the Lord is giving some opportunities that are utterly timely, that weren't happening before I came, and that would have been lost if I hadn't grabbed onto them right when they were there. And the great thing is, there's no compromise to mission, there's no compromise to truth. It's just an opportunity to raise more funds than I could have ever imagined. So here's the other thing. I need projects, okay? I don't need projects because I want to chalk them up and say, look how many projects we've done, but I need projects for all the reasons that I've explained. They're out there to be done, we just haven't thought of them yet. But also, I don't want to have resources just sitting in the bank. Money is given to us, some to save, there's wisdom in that, but we got to get it active. It's got to be activated. I don't want to be the one-talent guy. I don't want to be burying things in the ground. I don't think I'd do it because I was afraid, but I can definitely feel the temptation to do it because it kind of feels good to have some, commas. I mean, I only have, one comma, right now. But do you guys get what I'm saying? We got to activate those things. So I need projects. I don't know what God's going to do with that, but I know he would want me to say it, okay? So if you're a missionary, you're a national church leader, and you've been thinking, I'd like to kind of do something like this, but you didn't know how you were going to pay for it, get a hold of me and we'll start talking about it. Or if you've never thought about it, but now you're thinking about it, get a hold of me and we'll start talking about it, and we'll see what the Lord has in store. Okay, so if I go to the last slide, this is a brother from Cambodia. 2 decades ago, those were his library. Okay, those 3 books, Christian books. And now there are nearly 28 books in the Khmer language. Okay, it's awesome. I don't have a picture of those. I wish I did. It'd be kind of a cool, thing. But I know they're there. But here's the thing. I want to say thank you for being here, for wanting to be here, and for letting that desire bear fruit in your actual presence. And thank you for the work that you're doing, whether it's on the field, whether it was on the field, whether it is giving and sending. Thank you for that. And thank you for listening to me about this, because and I quote myself so I don't forget to say this because this is my conviction, that there are few more direct ways that we can personally disciple the nations than through Christian books published in the languages of the world. From us to them in their language, by their faith. Shared resources. So, any questions that you might have? I already cleared up the whole printing thing. It happens over there. Okay, yeah.
In the books that you've done so far, have they all been for adults or any for kids?
So the majority of what we do is more for leadership training, theology, evangelism for adults. We do have one book in particular. There's some copies over there, Life of Christ Visualized. If you remember the old Standard Publishing, Life of Christ Visualized. Okay, I know some of you have it, maybe still, or you had it. We have one donor who the Lord put it on her heart to pay for that. We've done it in 23 languages, almost 75,000 copies in those languages. So we don't usually do children's books, but it's only because we haven't been asked for the most part. Okay? Yeah, back here, John, yeah.
We know there's a lot of good resources and books available in English.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of a list of probably the most important or most valuable books that could help other countries if they were translated?
I could put a list like that together, yeah. We have some books that are the most popular among our partners. For example, I don't know if you'll believe this, but Denver Sizemore's 13 Lessons on Christian Doctrine, that book is asked for by more of our partners than any other book. I don't know why. Faith Once for All by Jack Cottrell. So 13 Lessons is a small, it's very clear and concise and small. Faith Once for All is Jack Cottrell, and it's big, hefty, heavy. And that's getting up there close to number 2. We're on the 10th language for that one. So that is like putting together just suggestions of what might help. That's not a bad idea. Okay, thanks. Other questions? Yes?
What is the average cost of a book?
Yeah, so the average cost is about $3,750, okay?
For an entire published?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that includes the ones that, it costs, let's say, $500, and then we have a couple, like Faith Once for All in Urdu, it's about $15,000. I think we're doing 1,000 copies in that one. And then in Kurdistan, translation is really expensive because there are 2 people that have the expertise to translate from English into Kurdish, and so you have to use them. So $3,750 is about the average. Okay. Yeah.
On the slide, I noticed it said translators and authors.
Uh-huh.
Are there people doing original works, for their own?
Yeah, there are some, and we always hope that will come. The Lisu leaders, Southeast Asia, the Morse family, they went back, 100 years ago. And then they still have family there. David Morris is still there. He's a strong partner. But their leaders are writing books in the Lisu language, and we're helping them to publish them. Poland is another one that has a really strong Christian church presence, Restoration Movement presence. They actually are independent now of us. They have their own publishing house, and it pays for itself. So we don't partner with them anymore to help pay for anything. And so Polish is another language that the leaders are writing in. So that's part of what I'm hoping also to encourage is yes, we can help you get the rights to translate anything, but have you thought, are your leaders at the place where they both have the spiritual maturity and the confidence to do it? And we really want to encourage that.
Ajay Law.
Oh, yeah, Ajay and Indu Law. Yeah, they both write. And a lot of their books they have written. Yeah, in fact, most of them, I would think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Doug. Okay, this is your last chance. The question you've always wanted to ask, but we're afraid to. Oh, here we go.
What is the process of deciding whether or not the book is published versus digitized and sent out on Kindle or
Right, right. It really is up to the field partner, whatever they feel like will benefit their ministry. But everything now is produced in such a way that it can easily be converted to a Kindle format. I say easily because I know there's a process to it, which Doug is prolific at. He's really good at. But yeah, so they decide though what they want it to be in, what form. But all the files are there for them to change, to use in a different form if they want to. Does that help? Yeah, okay. And we encourage them to. But some of them, like we have a partner in Egypt, and man, they've done some amazing stuff, but he's really afraid of pirating. And part of it is because he published a lot of print copies, and so he needs to pay for those. And so he's afraid if he digitizes it and gets it out there, it'll be copied. And so there's some different concerns that affect their decision to do that. Yes? We do not. But Good News Productions International, our sister organization in Joplin, they do audio and video, and so they work in that arena, and we in fact have a lot of our partners are the same as theirs. It's just we're the printed book side, and they're the video audio side. Yeah. Okay. Now, we need to pass out books. So this is what I'd like to say. I would love everyone, each family at least, to have a copy. But let's make sure everyone gets a copy, and then if you see any copies left on the table and you think you can get them into someone else's hand, please feel free to take another one or two more, okay? Don't take the whole stack and then I see them on eBay, okay? Please come on, let's not be that way. Yeah, I've been reading how to make some extra money. Go to Walmart and buy. I got this watch for $5 at Walmart. I went to the other Walmart in Joplin. They still had it for $35. I get how it works. Okay, no, okay. All right. So please do. If there's someone, we got a couple. Oh, thank you. Wow, on the ball. And I'm serious about Monday. If anyone's in the Eugene area and you'd like to get together for coffee or lunch or something, I'd love to connect with you, just to get to know you, okay? Thank you all so much for what you have done and everything you are doing in pursuing the kingdom of God, and in particular for the nations. Thanks.